My name is Eric Mwangi, and I'm the CEO here at Maridady Motors for the moment. I know there are other people in the team who are aspiring to be CEOs. I don't know how quickly they'll kick me out, but for now, I'm the CEO for Maridady Motors. Being the CEO actually means that you are the leader of the team. It is both a high position and a very low position. A high position because you'll be taking decisions that affect everybody in the company. But at the same time, you have to be the guy who is the backup for that person who is not doing well in the team. Being a team leader means that you have to understand everybody. You have to understand their individual journeys. Every time you're dealing with human beings, you're dealing with people that have got their own history. They have their present and they have their future. And every time you're dealing with an individual, you therefore have to ask themselves, who are they? What is their past? What are their aspirations? So that you try to make sure that you're creating the space that they need to thrive as individuals in relevance to the role that they're supposed to play in the team. The journey has been both good and tough. Of course, entrepreneurship is not a walk in the park. We've had high moments, we've had low moments, and I think the idea is to make sure that you keep your head straight and looking forward to the big goal and the big dream without losing focus of what the objective of the team is supposed to be. So I would say that as Maridady Motors, quite realistically, it's been a human journey, so to speak, because even though we are an organization, we are made of human beings. So there are times when we've done extremely well, our customers have been extremely happy with us, but also we've had moments where we've had to learn from the customer on how they wanted their order to actually be handled. So for us, I would say that it is a learning curve every day of trusting the process and trying to make sure that we are improving our services, we are improving ourselves, we are improving the company every single day. One of the things that makes me look forward to the next day is to solve one more problem for a customer and make a customer happy. I would say that I've come to understand that success is not actually a destination. It is a journey. It is enjoying every single moment of it. So one of the things that keeps me going is that aspiration to meet the need of yet another customer and see them happy. We are customer-centric. We understand that the job is to meet the needs of the customer, the wants of the customers, and to solve the problems of the customer. We've distilled our thoughts very well to understand that we are in the market, not really to sell, but to serve. The customer walks into our doors because they have a need, they have a want, they have a problem, and they're looking for a solution. And if you can be that organization that offers that solution, then you are answering the question of why Maridady. So for us, we are looking at the customer not as somebody to do a single transaction with, but as somebody that we want to build a relationship with, that we can go for a long distance. So for us, the thinking is actually completely long-term. And that is why if you look at our offerings, we have services that other car dealerships don't have. For example, we are the first car dealership to have a department that is offering driving lessons. Why are we doing this? We are looking at the first-time car buyer and the trouble of them, feeling like they're not fully qualified to drive. We've had very many customers buying cars from us for the first time and telling us, look, would you guys be kind enough to give me refresher courses? And just that question from 1, 2, 3, 4 customers made us realize that there's a need in the market for a driving school that is not just focused on the transaction, getting the money, giving the learner a license without caring whether they have actually acquired the driving lessons that they actually needed. So for us, we are looking at the entire, motoring space and looking at the problems, looking at the needs, looking at the wants, looking at the aspirations, and trying to craft ourselves around all those needs to make sure that tomorrow we can be the holistic motor dealership that the country actually needs. The way I got into the auto industry was very, very simple and very unceremonial because actually, ideally, the first thing that I went to do in college at Graphics was actually business computing. But one of the lecturers, one of the teachers, I would call him a teacher that was actually teaching me computers, and I give him a lot of credit for ushering me into the auto industry. We do business together to date. His name is Mr. Giduku. I hope he will get an opportunity to see this video. He's one of the people I say that when Maridady is 20 years, I should take him a cow to slaughter and eat. So he's the one who ushered me into the auto industry. by trusting me to handle the marketing of his vehicles. And that is how I got my nose into the industry, and I finally settled into it as my full-time job. When we started Maridady, we didn't know just how big the need is out there in terms of motoring solutions. By being in the jungle of the motoring industry, we've been able to see a lot of challenges, a lot of opportunities, a lot of threats, and a lot of weaknesses. And for us, we can say that the future is very, very big. There is a lot of space for things that we can do out of the box to be able to meet the needs of the market. And for me, as the CEO, I am looking forward to seeing Maridady meet the needs of many more people, seeing the careers of my team members grow, and even seeing one of them one day replace me as the CEO for Maridady Motors so that I can go and do something else with my life. I think mentorship for me has been something that I've been passionate with from the time I was very young. If you look at my history in my early 20s, one of the social programs that I did in my community was a mentorship program actually called the 6 Days of Excellence. And what we were doing then is that we would take teenagers and we would try to shape them into different academic fields and try to point them into different careers. Now, in the market, the mentorship required is completely different. I would say that by practical living. See, I've been to school. I did my undergraduate at USIU. I've done diplomas at Graffin's College. I think I have interacted with the best of learning institutions in this country. I've had my fair share of traveling out of the country. And I can say that there's a huge gap between academia in this country and the actual market. And I would say that that is the gap that entrepreneurs can help to fill. Because the whole reason why people go to school is to prepare them to solve problems in the market. Now, sometimes they come with the right skills, but they come with the wrong attitude. Yeah, because there is where the market is, and there is where the books are. And I would say that the people that completely understand where the market is are not the people in academia. It is the people that are actually running businesses. I am the person who is likely to actually have a better understanding of what attitude a marketer needs to come with in this market. I am the person who is likely to understand firsthand the attitude that the accountant needs to come with in this market. So even when we hire people, therefore, to work for us or to work with us in this enterprise, we acknowledge that yes, there is book knowledge that they are coming with, which is very important because it lays a foundation for us to be able to give them the practical skills. And that is why we do the mentorship, to help them and understand, look, these are the problems that we have here in the market, and this is what you'll be expected to solve. But I would say that I get very lucky with the people we hire. I think we get people that are very quick in learning, and therefore I enjoy the mentorship because it is easy. If it was difficult, I probably would not enjoy doing it. Trusting the process is something that we are very passionate with. It's not a marketing tagline. It is actually a code in the company. It's a conversation that we are having among ourselves, not just about business, but also about our personal lives. Trusting the process is about how we intend to develop our careers. It's about how we intend to lead our families back home. And it is a conversation of trying to talk to us as a generation, because we are a generation that is instant. Yeah, everything that we do is instant, instant messaging. You go home, you want to warm your food, you have the microwave. You want to take a shower, you go to the bathroom, you have an instant heater. And the effect of the availability of these technologies has produced individuals who are completely impatient. They cannot wait. They want results today. But the truth of the matter is that many other things in life that matter cannot be instant. You cannot have a marriage that is instantly good. It's a process. Yeah? For you to bring up your kids, for them to be responsible human beings in society, it's a process, and it is a lengthy process. For you to develop your career, to develop your talent, to develop your giftings. Yeah? If you're a marketer, for you to become a good marketer, if you are an accountant, for you to become a good accountant, you have to understand that it will not be instant. There's a process to it. So when we say trust the process, therefore, what we are telling ourselves is actually a reminder that it will not be instant. For us to become the best motor dealership in the country, there is a process to it. And that process will not necessarily be an interesting process. It will not necessarily be a straight line. So trust the process has also been an opportunity for us to reflect on the challenges that we have gone through as a company. We've had our own fair share of challenges. Bringing up a business is not easy. Along the way, you have human resource problems. Along the way, you have cash flow problems. You have debt problems. You have credit problems. You have customer service problems. And you can easily give up along the way. But when you look at all successful companies and you read their histories, you will actually understand that you're not alone, in that sphere. They have also gone through their own challenges for them to be where they are today. And we were just telling ourselves, trust the process. But the phrase also came at a very opportune time. The whole world was going through COVID. And COVID disrupted people's businesses. It disrupted people's relationships. It slowed down people. It was like a lost harvest for a lot of people, so to speak. And a lot of people had questions of hope. They had questions of the future. They were wondering, what does the future hold for us? And we were telling the market, trust the process. Even the difficulties that we are going through as a market because of COVID, that is part of the process of making us better people in terms of how we plan, in terms of how we project, and in terms of how we look at the future. The story of Uhunye is a story of many Kenyans. It is also our story as Maridady Motors. And when we met with Uhunye and he narrated his story to us, we actually saw our own story in him. And this is what I've been trying to communicate to a lot of people, because he told us stories of having tried things that didn't work out. Many of us have tried things that didn't work out. And he told us of the very negative effects that COVID finally had on his business. It was like the last nail to the coffin of his business, and his business actually died. And as somebody who has received help from people before in my entrepreneurial journey, I think I saw an opportunity for me to return the favor back to life. And I said, I'm going to bet on him. All he needs is a taxi to start his own business. There are many ways by which I can help, or we can help him get a taxi. We can get a loan on his behalf. We can get one of our vehicles that is a taxi and give it to him for him to run with it. And that is why we actually said that for this year, that is going to be our flagship CSR. That there are many times we do CSR that focuses on many people. But we said, why don't we, this year now that there are lockdowns, you are not allowed to move around, why don't we do a CSR that actually focuses on an individual and try to make a difference in his life and in the life of his immediate family? And that is why we placed a bet on Uhunye. We don't regret it. We are very happy with what he's doing. We are keeping in touch with him. It is not a perfect journey. It will never be a perfect journey, but it is a practical journey of trying to change one man's life and hoping that by doing that, you can be able to ignite conversations of hope, conversations of resilience and bouncing back, and the understanding that every day you wake up, just try to do your best with what you have, and you never know who is going to notice you. That is what the Uhunye story is about. It's about trusting the process, driving the process, and trying to make sure that even though you can't help everybody, you are not going to withhold the little help that you can be able to give to the neighbor that God has brought next door to you. We take CSR very seriously and very close to our hearts, because it is the one thing that says that an organization is not basically existing just to make profits. It is equally keen to make a difference in the society within which it operates. And we involve ourselves in CSR in terms of mentoring students. We talk to students in a lot of high schools. We also donate toys in schools. We also partner with children's homes where we can. The need out there is bigger than anybody can be able to do as an individual. Any organization can be able to do as an individual organization. But we believe that if every SME in this country can be able to help, if every SME was able to do CSR that touches 10 students, just 10 students only in this country, you can imagine the thousands, the hundreds of thousands of people's lives that would actually get touched. But there is a misconception in the market that CSR belongs to the big corporates. It is the big corporates that are supposed to be doing CSR. But I believe that it would be more impactful CSR if it was actually done by the SMEs. Why? Because this country has very few big corporates. you can count them with less than the 10 fingers of your hands. But when it comes to the SMEs, we have thousands of SMEs. So the multiplier effect of every SME touching just 10 lives every year can be very big. So we want to take the lead in encouraging SMEs. We don't have big budgets as SMEs for CSR, but the retro budget you have as an individual SME, if it is multiplied by the thousands of SMEs that we have in the country, the impact is going to be very, very big. We will be changing the whole country as SMEs. I think one of the things that I've been told by a lot of people is that I can be arrogant. Every time I'm told that, I feel like crying because I know how much I am to the opposite. But I think sometimes as an entrepreneur, you have more things to do in a day than the hours there is. And so therefore you will not have a lot of time to soothe people's egos. Sometimes you will say straight what needs to be done. And sometimes that doesn't go very well with a lot of people. You could ask the team that question. Probably they would give you better misconceptions. But I have had people tell me, shyly, the way you said that was a bit arrogant. But I don't think it is arrogant. Sometimes it is the fact that you need to say quickly what needs to be done for you to go where you want to go as a company. I think I would want to be remembered as the guy who helped people grow. Yeah, everybody that interacts with you has a goal, yeah, or has a dream, and they feel that by working with you, that dream is going to somehow be achieved, whether it is a customer, whether it is a supplier, whether it is a member of staff. The reason why people want to do anything with you is because they feel that somehow by doing it with you, there's a goal, a dream, a vision of theirs that is getting accomplished. The customer may be wanting to get a car, a staff may be wanting to grow in their career, a supplier is looking for a business opportunity. So I would want to be the guy that helped other people win. I have a slogan that says that it is good enough to succeed, but it is best to succeed with others. Balancing family and work is both an art and a science. Sometimes you think you're doing an extremely good job, but your spouse doesn't think so. But I would say that it is something that you have to be very deliberate about. The same way you take your business meeting seriously is the same way you have to take your family time seriously. Sometimes it's very, very tricky because the job can be very demanding. But it is the one thing that you have to keep on reminding yourself that it is a responsibility that you cannot delegate. Anything else that you do for the company is something that you cannot delegate. But you cannot delegate being a husband. You cannot delegate being a father. Currently, I'm celebrating the birth of my third child. My daughter, Malaika, was born just the other day. She's 1 month and 2 weeks old. And I think that is a big reminder for me on how much I am needed at home, where Malaika cannot have another father. My 2 daughters and 1 son cannot have another father. Yeah? And therefore, they definitely need me to be home as the dad. But like I say, it is like walking on a rope, because sometimes the business needs you at the same time you're needed at home. And you have to keep on reminding yourself that these you cannot delegate. These you can actually be able to delegate to somebody else. My name is Eric Mwangi Ngigi. I'm the CEO of Maridady Motors. If you want a big discount on your car, you can call me Erico. And welcome to Maridady Motors.